3 hours ago, no one would have imagined that today would be like this. Everything was perfectly normal at 11 a.m. in the southern Iranian military port. Heavy cargo ships were arriving at the port as usual. Workers were unloading cargo, and inside the control room, radar operators were sipping tea and looking at the screen. A salty breeze was blowing around the port, and the waves of the sea were lapping on the shore. On a day like this, no one could have dreamed that in just a few hours, this quiet place would be brought to the attention of the entire world. When the signal first appeared on the radar screen, no one paid much attention. A small fishing boat, slowly approaching the port. That was all that could be seen. On an ordinary day, seeing such a boat is not unusual. But that day, the incident was unusual. An experienced radar officer, sitting in the control room, caught the sight of the matter. He knew that fishing was completely prohibited in this particular area. No trawler was supposed to come here. So where did this boat come from? And why was it coming this way? The question stuck in his head like a nail. The boat was about 8 kilometers away from the port. It was not too close, but it was not very far either. This strange distance was actually the most suspicious. It was difficult to make any decisions from so far away. It was also not good to sit with your eyes closed, so everyone decided to monitor the situation for now. But while monitoring the situation, something even more terrifying came to mind. The radar screen showed 2 small objects circling just above the sea, at an altitude of about 3 kilometers. At first it seemed maybe some toy drone, but think about it. Look who would fly a toy drone near such a big military port in the middle of the open sea? No? Madman would do this. This one question changed the whole game. Radar officer did not wait any longer. Immediately, the head commander informed the officer. Suddenly, the suppressed tension in the control room spread within a few minutes. The decision was made to send a fighter jet into the sky. Then 2 fighter jets started running from the Bushehr Air Base in Iran. These were Iran's famous F-4 Phantom. Many people also know them as F-4 Tomcats. At one time, these fighter jets were America's most reliable place. Many years ago, Iran bought them and updated them over time, and are still using them. These 2 jets, which can climb to a speed of about 2,500 kilometers per hour, reached the suspicious area in less than 2 minutes. But what the pilots saw when they got there made their own eyes pop out. Where the toy drones were supposed to be, in fact, 2 state-of-the-art F-6 fighter jets were patrolling the skies. Although the F-6 was originally made with American technology, many countries around the world use it. As a result, there was no way to understand which country they were from. There was no flag, no markings, just 2 gray weapons silently circling in the sky. As the Iranian F-4 approached, it was seen that the F-6s were not retreating at all. The reason for this was clear. In terms of technology, the F-6s were ahead of the old Iranian F-4s in many ways. The Iranian pilots, understanding the situation, were forced to circle back for a while without attacking directly. But that was not the end of it. An emergency meeting was held at the Iranian military headquarters at that time. Unknown warplanes were circling in their own airspace. This is not tolerable for any country. It was decided to turn on the air defense system. The whole world knows about Iran's missile technology. Their surface-to-air missile system is one of the most powerful in the world. These missiles can travel at times the speed of sound and can accurately hit targets 150 kilometers away. Within a moment, the system was activated, and the 2 F-6s were locked onto the target. Then the high-speed missiles took off. On the other hand, the modern radar system inside the F-6 jet can detect enemy missiles from about 40 kilometers away. Almost as soon as the Iranian missiles were launched, the F-6 pilots realized that the situation was no longer under control. Without wasting a second, they opened full throttle and started to flee towards international airspace. The missiles followed them for some distance, but when Iran entered the international border, it did not move any further. At this time, a new drama began on the seabed. That mysterious ship, which at first seemed to be a fishing boat, it was actually a warship. Hearing the roar of missiles in the sky, the captain of the ship realized that it was no longer safe to be here. The ship started running towards international waters at maximum speed. There were no large warships deployed around the Iranian port at that time. Time was running out. So, as a last attempt, 3 high-speed speedboards were sent. Members of the Iranian Special Marine Commando Force were sitting on those boards. Everyone had one goal in mind: that ship that was running away. Clear orders came from the control room. It had to be stopped at any cost. The boats were cutting through the waves and moving forward, but every second the ship was moving a little further away. In the end, the ship crossed international waters in just a few minutes. Iran did not proceed any further. After this whole incident, the Iranian side did not. The incident was very difficult. They made it clear that in the future, no warship or warplane would be given another chance if it entered Iranian territory. But the most mysterious thing is that no one has admitted to which country these ships or warplanes belong to. No country has claimed that they are theirs. This silence actually raises the most questions. Meanwhile, tensions in the Persian Gulf have intensified after that incident. The Iranian armed forces claim to have carried out a pair of attacks on 6 U.S. strategic warships. In the 84th phase of their Operation True Promise 4, the attacks were carried out on the U.S. Navy stationed in Al Shuk Port and Dubai coast. Iran said it used its sophisticated cruise missiles called Qadr 380, developed with its own technology, in this operation. According to the Ground, 6 U.S. landing craft utility ships have been hit. Iran claims that 3 of them have sunk to the bottom of the sea. The remaining 3 are on fire and are practically useless. A large amount of U.S. strategic equipment has been destroyed in this attack. Iran's attacks have not stopped not only at sea, but also on land. Separate attacks have been carried out on U.S. fuel supply vehicles at the Al-Karsh base. It is reported that the logistics support fleet there has been completely destroyed. Kamikaze drones have also been used to attack personnel of a U.S. drone unit in the coastal area of Dubai. Even a suicide drone attack has been carried out on a certain hotel for U.S. troops, according to the IRGC's Public Relations Department. In total, Iran claims that a large number of U.S. troops have lost their lives. The most sensational claim came from Brigadier General Abul Fazal Shekarchi, spokesman for the General Staff of the Iranian Armed Forces. He said in an interview that Iranian forces had destroyed every one of the 17 military bases that the United States had established in the West Asia region. According to him, the Americans had failed to protect their own bases and armies, referring to the 12-day war against Israel and the United States in 2025. Shekarchi added that it was after that war that Iran shifted from its usual defensive policy to an offensive one. However, he also made it clear that Iran has not attacked any country first in the past 47 years and will not do so in the future. But if someone attacks Iran, the counterattack will continue until the opponent is completely destroyed. A large portion of analysts believe that the United States has actually shot itself in the foot by engaging in a war against Iran at the instigation of Israel. If the military infrastructure built over decades in the Middle East is truly destroyed, then America's strategic influence in the region may be ended forever. The water of the Persian Sea is now not only salty, but also the smell of gunpowder and the shadow of uncertainty.